there'll be no spoilers here. Don't worry, no spoilers. Okay, so let's see. We're gonna start from the first ones I've read from. Okay, the first one I'm gonna be talking about today is The Player of Games. The Player of Games. The Player of Games. That's what it's called. By Ian M. Banks. Ian M. Banks. Ian M. Banks. Where do I begin? Sorry, my hair's like really dumb today. Okay. The Player of Games by Ian M. Banks is. It was crazy. The ending was insane. You kind of saw it coming. I've never talked about books, so bear with me, please. But it's basically about this guy. His name is Kurt. Oh my God, I forgot his name. It's been a year, actually, exactly a year that I've read this. Let me. I'm such a fake. Oh, sure now, Gerge. Okay, I was right. The way I see it, if you've read this, I'm sorry, but this is my perception of it, is that, okay, first of all, it was a sci-fi book, okay? And my perception of this book is that it's so far in the future and AI is slowly taking over every single job. Not taking over, okay? That's not what I meant. AI is slowly taking everyone's job. Robots are being made, and eventually they'll be able to take over manual labor as well, not just computing labor. And so, the way I thought of this book is that it's so far in the future where robots, AI, all of that, LLMs, they take over human jobs, and all they do is play games. Like, everything is based off of games. Not everything, but it's a huge hobby. It's like NFL in America, but games there. That's how it is. So they have their own games, and so basically they compete with them themselves. Journal Gerge is like the best. Does he cheat? Does he not cheat? I don't know. You can figure that out. The way the wording is laid out in this book is you see. This is so weird to talk about. I never talked about books. So my experience with this book is that it was so detailed that I like this whole movie in my head. That's how books are, okay? I know. What I mean is that the characters themselves, throughout the book, the more they talk, the more they portray themselves, the more they're talked about from another character's perspective. Your vision of the character changes, if that makes sense. I forgot. Okay, so next I'm going to talk about Surface Detail by the same author, Ian M. Banks. So I don't know if it was in The Player of Games or Surface Detail, but there were these robots. They're all based on the same world, which is the culture. They're both based robots, and then I forgot who asked them something, and then they were like, we hack. Like, they were just hacking robots. And I thought it was cool because I really love that field, so it was funny. I, like, audibly laughed, because, I don't know, if you read it, you'll get it. Okay, so that's the player of games. I recommend rating. It was like a 9.5 out of 10. I really love that book, and I recommend it. I would definitely 100% read it again eventually. But yes, it was very good. The Player of Games by Ian M. Banks. Definitely recommend if you love sci-fi movies, books in general, sci-fi. I recommend it. Next is Surface Detail by Ian M. Banks. Same author, like I said. Surface Detail, Surface Detail. It's based off the same world, same setting, which is the culture, that is the world. It's like us, we're Earth for Surface Detail, the Player Games, and many other books. It's based off the culture. Okay, so this Surface Detail, I read it, let's see, I guess in September last year. September. I would rate this book, I'm gonna rate it now, let's say a 9.5 out of 10 as well. It's sci-fi too. I'm gonna take a sip of Diet Coke. So good. Okay. So, Surface Detail is about a girl. Her name is Lededja Ibrek. This book is mostly about, okay, so it's very futuristic, sci-fi, all of that stuff. This book is mostly based on hell, virtual hell, and I wouldn't say reincarnation, but it's based off of that. Like the main idea of the whole book is virtual hell, virtual wars, virtual afterlife, virtual, basically a huge simulation. And the way I'm thinking about it is that it's real, but the hell and the afterlife, all of that stuff is virtual. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's what I remember it to be as. It's been a while since I've read it, so don't come at me. So, Surface Detail, like I said, it's about a girl. Her name's Lededja Ibrek. She's a slave to Peppers, that's his name. This Peppers is very evil. Sorry. He's very evil. Peppers is very evil, and he's like Elon Musk. He owns mostly everything. Elon Musk, Bill Gates, whoever, whichever. Just someone who owns everything. So, he's very rich. He owns many things. His slave is Lededja Ibrek. They had some beef with their family, and then to the point where she had to be a slave to him. And not just a slave. This is very, very graphic. This book is very graphic. Let me say that. Surface Detail is very graphic. In many ways, like sexually, gory too, and mostly sexually than gory, I would say. And so this girl, she's basically abused by peppers, and it also has like this little backstory about this couple that goes to the virtual hell. It's, I don't know if I'm making it sound interesting or if it sounds interesting, but 100% if you like sci-fi, I recommend it. 100%, 100%, 100%, I recommend this book. If you love sci-fi, if you love a storyline, I recommend it. And I think that's all I'm going to say about that. I really like the character Ledette Breck. She is very, you know, it's not like those stories where someone gets abused or someone could get their revenge, but they don't because they want to be the good person, like courageous, something like that, whatever. Same stuff. Except with this one, she gets her revenge. How? I don't know, I'm not gonna tell you. But she gets her revenge, which I love. I love that she got her revenge. I love it so much because I'm tired of this. Oh, I'm not gonna kill this person because I'm gonna be the bigger person. So, no, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to read that. She got her revenge. I'm not gonna say how, but 9.5 out of 10, almost a 10. Recommend. Surface Detail by Ian M. Banks. I recommend it if you like sci-fi. I recommend it. I recommend it. You should read it. Okay. Third book is Anthem. Anthem by Ayn Rand. Ayn Rand. If you're in America, you probably read this at school. So, okay, I have this weird story with this one. Not about the book itself, but I'm just gonna say this real quick. So, they made us read this in high school. I think it was my second year in high school, so I'd say sophomore and or freshman. Either or. So we read Anthem by Ayn Rand, and ever since, I didn't even know what book we were reading. We were just reading it. I don't even know if I had a conscience at that point. And ever since, I've thought about that book out of nowhere in my life. After that, I've just thought about scenes in that book. I've had dreams about it, and it was very weird. It was so, you know, at the end, I really thought, okay, so I read it again. I finally found it, and thankfully, it's such a popular book, but this book, it was free on Audible, so I listened to it, and I was like, this sounds very familiar, extremely familiar, and it was the book that I've been looking for. Oh my god, I'm sorry. It was the book I was looking for, and I was like, I finished it in one day, like back to back. I just kept it rolling. I finished it, and it was so good. I recommend this book 100%. Again, it's very eye-opening. Honestly, it reminds me of communism. But I did some research, and supposedly it's not about communism, but the way my perspective of it was communism. How there's no I, me, my needs. There's none of that. It's we, our, all of that stuff. I definitely recommend it. This book is very, very short. So if you're looking for something to read right away, something that keeps you hooked, Anthem by Ayn Rand, 1000% recommend to read in one day. If you want something to read in one day, I recommend it so much. Honestly, one of my favorite books. It's very good. I'm gonna read the review that I wrote on Goodreads. This captivating book left an indelible mark on my high school years. It is memorable, and its these memorable scenes have lingered with me ever since. Despite struggling to recall the title for years, the joy of rediscovering it surpassed my expectations. The dystopian ambience and overall brilliance of the book remain truly remarkable. I could not have worded that any better. I think I used Grammarly on that, so I'm just being 100% real, okay? Okay, sorry, I was looking for like a stand for my phone because my hand's kind of like hurting. Okay. The next book is a religious book. I was still, whenever you grow up Christian, you're just used to all of these things, but you never question it. You never question anything. You never look at different perspectives. You're just thrown in a church and you're just used to it. You don't ask any questions. I think I'm gonna turn off this light because it's like changing colors. Okay. So the next book is called What Christians Believe. What Christians Believe. If you're not Christian, if you're something else, if you're atheist, just listen to this. I'm not gonna preach to you. I'm not gonna tell you you're going to hell or something. It's just a book, okay? Let's look at it in a philosophical way, okay? So, this is the first religious book I've ever read, other than the Bible, and it mostly talked about a new perspective on Christianity. I'm gonna read my review, okay? I really enjoyed this quick read. It gave me a new perspective, and the content was concise and suitable for both Christians and the general public. Like I said, it's not about Christianity, like, you need to receive God, blah, 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 blah. No. It's like more of a philosophical view. A lot of people say that Christianity and religion doesn't coexist with, philosophy, and that it shouldn't be connected, like, oh, it's only God. I disagree on that. So it's more of a philosophical view, and this is a very, very quick read. If you're Christian, if you're not, if you just like reading about different religions, which I do, I recommend. It's very, very fast. Okay, this next one is supposedly very popular. Sorry if my voice keeps going in and out. I'm not used to whispering this long. So, the next book is called The Art of War. The Art of War by Sun Tzu. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong. The Art of War. Okay, what Christians believe, that rating, I'd give it an 8, 7, 6. I'd give it a 6.5. 6.5, because it's good for a Christian who never questioned their religion or dig deeper. So yeah, okay. So The Art of War is more of a philosophical view type of book, and I didn't like it. Sorry. So I didn't like it. Not that I didn't like it. It's just, how do I say this? Wasn't my cup of tea. I do like how it basically talks about, so basically you're the enemy and you're fighting against each other. Y'all are both the enemy. Y'all are both correct. And I don't know. I kind of rushed through this book, so I'm not really gonna say anything about it. The Art of War. I don't know. I'd give it like a 3. I'm sorry. Okay. This next one. It's another religious book. At this time, I was like super like hardcore. Not hardcore. Okay, I take that back. At this time, I was very digging deeper into Christianity. Okay, so this book is called God is Able. God is Able. God is Able. God is Able by Priscilla Shearer. Priscilla Shearer. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. Is that too loud? Okay. God is able. So, this book taught me, it reminded me to be thankful for everything. We have so many fortunes here. Okay, so if you live in America, I'm not speaking for the entire world. I'm saying if you live in America, because I live in America and we are handed so many things. We are so fortunate to have running water, bathrooms, the simplest things. Many people wish they had, they dreamed, they wish they were you, because you have such simple amenities and we take it for granted. And this book basically talks about Priscilla's testimony. It's a very good testimony. I don't like how she talks about herself. Like, if you're like that much, like if I'm gonna read something, I want it to be helpful towards me. Just like anyone who's watching something, it's because you're getting something out of it. So here you're basically getting information about Priscilla, and you're kind of just like, give me more, I don't know, more valuable information for my own life. But okay, that being said, it was a good book, and she says to pray about everything. Okay, I have a test tomorrow, pray, obviously. I'm gonna go shower, okay, you should pray, hopefully I don't fall. I'm not saying to pray about every single thing, but whenever you remember and you're thankful for something, pray. And she says, even the dumbest thing, let's say I'm gonna go buy a car tomorrow, people would be like, oh, hopefully I get a good car, hopefully I don't get scammed or something. Basically what she says is to pray about every single conflict, any single situation that's gonna happen very soon, or just in general. So I'd rate this book about like a 5 or 6, 5.5. So this next one I read, let's say 2 years ago, 3 years ago. It's called Girlboss. Girlboss, #Girlboss, I know. So this book is by Sophia Amoruso. This book, I read it I think I was like waiting in a hospital, and I just grabbed it and I started reading it because I had the whole day. And this book is very Y2K. This book is very Y2K. I have my Goodreads on here, so it's very Y2K. And Girlboss is basically about how Sophia started her online business. So this book is like very Y2K, starting a business, all of that stuff. I'm gonna put this down here. Okay, and so she basically started like on eBay, and it basically motivates you to, so if you're gonna start a business, you're gonna start very, 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 very small, unless you're extremely lucky or already have funds. So she started on eBay. Whenever I finished this book, I felt more confident about, I felt more confident about starting a business. Obviously not right now, but just in general, whoever is listening, you shouldn't be scared to start something, anything. Start a business, start a band, who cares, anything. You're gonna start small, but once you're consistent, it's very obvious, but a lot of people don't know. Once you're consistent, it could be huge. It could be like a whole corporation, something. But the moral of that book is basically you're gonna start small, and it's basically her testimony on how I think she owns the clothing line. It's called Nasty Gal. And yeah, she started on eBay. Oh my god. This next book is called The Communist Manifesto. The Communist Manifesto by Karl Marx. This book was very, very interesting. Okay, Girlboss, I don't know if I rated it. I guess 8.5, 8.5, 8.5. So, the Communist Manifesto is by Karl Marx, and the writing on this book was, I'd say, mediocre. I'm sorry if you're a Karl Marx fan. Not that I don't like, I like the perspective. I love the new perspective, like how do you think and all that stuff. So, I don't know, you'd have to read it yourself. It's a very quick read. So I think everyone needs to read this book. It's talked about so much. It's very controversial. I don't know why. Well, I would know why. But personally, it didn't offend me. I was just like, what? A lot of times, like, I'd be reading and I'd be like, so I've read many reviews on this book, and the conclusion of the reviews is basically, this man has never worked a day in his life. And I kind of agreed. Sorry. I'd give that book like a 2 or a 1. I didn't agree with some stuff. Like I said, it was a new perspective. I was like, oh, okay. Some stuff I didn't agree. So this other one is in Spanish. It's called El Poder de la Gratitud. 7 ejercicios simples que van a cambiar tu vida. Sorry, this is long. A mejor incluye un diario de gratitud de 9 días. Hábitos que cambiarán tu vida. Número 5. So, El Poder de la Gratitud. In English, it's the power of gratitude. This book is basically about, it's like a 7-day journaling book, and the conclusion of it is that you're grateful for everything, to be grateful for everything. So I have a Diet Coke right now, and I'm very grateful for it. I'm grateful that I have this device where I can record video, just stuff like that. Be grateful for things. Someone gives you a rock, be like, I'm grateful for this. It was a good book. It's very quick. If you like journaling with books and stuff, I recommend. But personally, for me, it was like a 4.3 out of 10. I journal anyway, so I didn't feel the need to journal with it. I was kind of just listening to it. So this next book, it's called Resiliencia. I guess you can guess it's resilience in English. Resiliencia. It's about emotional intelligence. This person talked a lot about business too, being resilient and starting a business, all of that. I don't really remember this book. It was very short. Here in Goodreads, I gave it a 3.76 out of 5. So that's all I gotta say about that one. And this other book that I haven't finished, it's called What Happens Next? Conversations from Mars. So it's basically a bunch of interviews with space expeditioners, and they talk about Mars. And one cool thing that I learned is that they go to, where is it, Iceland or Greenland? Oh crap, Antarctica. Oh my god, I'm giving y'all false information right now. They go to, where is it, Antarctica or something like that, and it's similar to Mars. So they train there, and they have like this whole base camp where it's like solely to train to go to Mars, to train their people, and to train substances, I guess, like to make food, to see how you would survive. And the whole Mars conversation, I don't know, it seems very sci-fi. Obviously very futuristic because it will happen in the future eventually, just not right now. A lot of people see it as a waste of funds, but it's what it takes if we want to get to Mars. But people are like, why do we want to get to Mars? Blah blah, all that stuff. If something, I guess the other side's excuse is just in case something happens to Earth, but it's like a whole thing. Like, who would get to go? Oh, the people with money. So, oh, the people who don't have money aren't worthy of surviving. It's like a whole thing. I would love to talk about it, but time. And this is about books, not about my opinion. So, yeah, it's like a bunch of interviews. I recommend it if you really like the whole Mars idea and space travel, all of that stuff. Yeah, that's all the books I read last year. I do plan on reading on here. I don't know what books though. I've read a book on camera before, and it was very, very hard. I kept stumbling on my words and all of that. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I really hope I recommended some books. I'm gonna retell you what books that. Okay, so The Player of Games, The Player of Games, The Player of Games, The Player of Games by Ian M. Banks. Ian M. Banks. M. Surface Detail by Ian M. Banks. Anthem by Ayn Rand. What Christians Believe by C.S. Lewis. The Art of War by Sun Tzu. TZU. God is Able by Priscilla Shearer. Shirer. Hashtag Girlboss by Sophia Amoruso. The Communist Manifesto by Karl Marx. El Poder de la Gratitud by Mark Reclau. Resiliencia by Daniel Goleman. And What Happens Next? Conversations from Mars by Adam Savage. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to. And thank you for watching again.